Hey everybody, Russ here at Shaper, and we just finished our very first session on BenchPilot.
Yeah, and the dust is literally still settling here. We're going to give you an intro into BenchPilot and show you everything it can do.
It's literally the easiest CNC machine out there. Can't wait for you guys to see how it works. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our sessions. Also, please leave a comment below if you've got any questions. We'll try to answer them. Last but not least, make sure to join us at 4 o'clock Pacific when we do these Shaper sessions live every other Thursday at shapertools.com/sessions.
Hope you enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to Shaper Sessions.
My name is Jake.
And I'm Russ.
And we have a pretty epic show for you today.
Yeah, as you see, we're working with BenchPilot live for the very first time. We've got the shelf upgrade kit working with us as well, and we're going to cover everything today. We've got a whole bunch of demos.
Yeah. We're going to be doing some push sticks. We're going to be doing some tenons, a whole gang of tenons. And we're going to be doing some inlays, positives, and then the negatives handheld.
Yeah, this tool is incredible. It helps you work more efficiently when you've got just a bunch of work to do. It's very flexible.
Yep.
It allows you to, use hands-off mode when you need it, but still be hands-on when you want it or when you need to be portable.
Yeah. And it's familiar. It's its origin. It just drives itself.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a lot to cover, so we are going to dive straight into it. But before we get started, I want to make you aware that for the very first month that BenchPilot is for sale, we're knocking off $100. We've also got some bundle deals that we'll walk through in the middle of the show in a little more detail. We'll walk through the shipping details in the middle of the show. But what you really want to know is in this first month, you can save $100. So check it out now. Jake, why don't we show everybody how this thing works, because it's brand new. I love it, but there's a lot to digest.
Yes. All right. While we do that, I'm just going to go ahead and run this again.
Yeah. So what are we looking at on Origin's screen here?
I'm going to tap that green button. It's going to bring me into preview mode. And I can just
hit the green button and relax.
Yeah.
Nice. BenchPilot makes the large-scale movements for you, while Origin does all the precision work to keep you exactly on the line while you're cutting, just like it does when you are working with it hands-on. You can see this XY gantry working to move Origin around, and there's a lot of things that you can do while it's running. You can change the speed. Right now we're running at 31 inches per minute. That's really easily adjustable with this knob on the right-hand side, so you can see Jake turning that up and down. Really cool to see the speed also of BenchPilot compared to the standard default feed rates that we use for Origin, which is closer to the 10 to 15 inch per minute speed. We've got an 11 by 18 working area with workstation. We've got an 17 by 18 workspace without workstation. You can see we've got a dedicated e-stop over here on the right-hand side. And if we hit the button at the top of the screen, Jake, we can show everyone timer mode. So let's check this out. You can see from all the way across the shop, if you're working on something else, which we hope you're doing while BenchPilot does the work for you, you've got just about less than a minute to go until this cut is complete.
Man, you almost timed that perfectly.
Yeah, I did. So there we go. That's the end of a cut. That's BenchPilot in a nutshell. I mean, that's really all there is to it. It's quite simple.
It is, and that's the whole point.
So should we just call it a wrap now?
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. But we really do want to show you how simple this can be to set up from scratch, because, we did a little bit before the show on this welcome sign. We're walking into it, mostly cut. We just press the green button. But is there more programming to do in advance of that?
We don't like that word.
Programming, yeah. I'm going to say no, and we're going to cut a push stick to prove it. One of the cool things about being part of the Shaper ecosystem is that we've got all of these designs on Shaper Hub that are ready to go for you at any time. So let's check out Shaper Hub over here. These are push sticks that Jake made ages ago.
So long.
Do you remember what project you made these for, Jake? Maybe this was for a software release?
Possibly, yeah. Or I was just started working here, and I was like, we don't have any push sticks.
Oh, yeah, nice. So anyway, we've got a bunch of different push stick types over here. What I'm going to do is go ahead and sync these to my files. These are going to go straight to the origin setup on BenchPilot, which is linked to my account. And we're just going to download this and get cutting.
Yeah. I'm going to get my workspace set up by just sticking down some plywood onto my shelf upgrade kit. And I want to make sure everything is nice and level. So I'm retracting that arm. Quick adjustment on the arm. Drop that down just a bit so I can, just like we're used to, level everything out with the support bar for workstation.
We didn't even talk much about what the shelf upgrade kit is, but you can see we've got this nice huge table here and this tripod leg going down with a nice quick adjustment mechanism. And then we've got a fine adjust along with that. So Jake's just tuning this fine adjust to make sure that everything's nice and level and supported. Putting that support bar, alignment bar off to the side now. One of the cool things about BenchPilot is how you can use Origin in or out of it, and it clicks in just as easy as that. So let's go to the workspace that we already have set up for this size material. We've got this here, and you'll notice we've got a nice rectangle here showing the bounding box of BenchPilot's cutting area with workstation. We're going to import a file to fit inside that box.
Push 6 right at the top.
Right at the top. And you know, I want to show off a really cool pocketing feature that's coming with BenchPilot. So let's do this one with the pocketed handle.
Nice.
Yeah, anywhere in that window is going to be A-OK. Now, one thing that you'll notice at this point, relative to the way things normally work with Origin, before we used to do scan, design, cut. Now we're going scan, design, pilot. When Origin is latched into BenchPilot, you're going to see this pilot mode automatically pop up. When we go into that, we're going to see all of the same settings that you're used to seeing with Origin, just with a little more automation and some more selection features added. So Jake's chucking up a bit for us. That's going to be a 1/4 inch bit to cut this out.
Yeah, 1/2 inch plywood.
Sounds good to
1/4
me.
inch bit.
Let's get that in there and show you guys what's in pilot mode. Cool. Same settings that we're used to, top to bottom. When you hover over this path, you're going to see that the cutting depth is unset. So what that means is that this file has just an encoded depth on the handle, no encoded depth on the outside. We can set that to automatically cut everything to the encoded depth that we've got there. We're going to go to 0.51 inches. Jake's Z touching. He's got the bit diameter set there. It knows that we've got two different cut paths going on in here, the outside cut and the pocket cut. We don't want an offset for this. It doesn't matter so much what our fit is on a push stick. It's just an outline. And the speeds we're going to control with that knob on BenchPilot itself. So, okay, we walked through this. We downloaded it, placed the design, updated the bit diameter. Let's just get cutting. Do you like those cut settings? I think we should turn that down. Was that a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch and a 0.51? Oh no, that's a 1/4 inch and a 0.51. Yeah. Perfect. 3 passes. 2 roughing passes and a finishing pass. 2 depth passes for the handle.
Bingo.
Okay.
Bring that spindle back up to speed 5. And we can let it go.
So while this is cutting, the very first thing that you're going to notice is that we are pocketing out the handle. Now, I can hear an awful lot of BenchPilot. Goose, can we make sure that Jake's audio is turned down, just as a quick double check here? We are pocketing out the handle on BenchPilot. This is happening automatically. And the first thing that you're going to notice is that we're taking steps outward from the middle of the pocket out at 2 depth passes each. And that's going to go ahead and clean out this pocket in a nice automated way. Hey Jake, buddy, can I ask you to turn your microphone off while we're cutting this? Because I'm getting an awful lot of BenchPilot noise. Yeah, there we go. Thanks so much. BenchPilot is working at that auto speed of 30 inches per minute. And you can see right at the top, we're cutting 3 out of 7 paths. That 3 out of 7 paths means that we've got 6 paths to clear out this pocket. We just jumped from 3 to 4, and the last pass is going to be that outside cut. When we're inside this pocket, again, it's going to step down in the increments that we've specified, and then continue cutting outward. When we get to the end of the pocket, that's going to automatically include a roughing and a finishing pass. So similar to what we're used to when working with Origin by hand, you're going to get those roughing passes to clear out the shape as fast as possible, and then we'll get that finishing pass with a much lighter cut to give you the smoothest possible results. You can also see up at the top that Jake has about 5 minutes remaining. BenchPilot, based on the auto speed that you're using, is automatically calculating at all times the amount of time remaining. Our goal with this is to let you do other things in the shop while BenchPilot's working. You should be designing your next stool, or sanding the last thing that you cut, or maybe preparing your next batch of stool legs to cut the tenons on, like we're going to do later in the show. Now, if we go back up to that speed, or not the speed, but the timer countdown screen on Origin screen here. Yeah, now let's look and see what happens with this as we change the speed of BenchPilot. Jake, if we turn that down a little bit, what's going on here? We're turning down that inches per minute, and you can see that the timer counts up. Another thing that we could do, yeah, let's go ahead and turn that back up so that we're not here forever. That 30 inches per minute is what I like. Another thing that you can do here is take your time with BenchPilot. So later, for example, we'll be cutting a bunch of inlay pieces with a tiny, tiny router bit. We're going to use a 16th inch router bit to make sure that we get all the details on a nice little dragonfly inlay. When you're cutting with a 16th inch router bit, when you're working by hand, it's really easy to rush and get a little too heavy-handed and break that router bit. With the speed adjustment on BenchPilot and the ability to walk away and go hands-free, we're going to be able to let that take as much time as we want. We'll be able to see also how long it's going to take, so that hopefully when we get to that point, Jake and I can just step off to the side and do our little mid-show announcements. So let's go back to Origin screen here and look at what's happening. We have just transitioned from that pocket cut to the outside cut, and this is going to be much more familiar to anyone who's used AutoPass already. AutoPass, of course, in the past has worked with outside and inside cuts. What this is going to do is the same thing. It's going to go down automatically to your final depth with a roughing offset, and then go into your final offset for a finishing pass at full depth. Now, is this AutoPass? Not quite. It's pilot mode, but we did keep a lot of the same UI between the two feature sets there, so that it's as familiar as possible to people who already know and love AutoPass. You're going to get a lot of the same automation, and all of that is included with BenchPilot in pilot mode. As we're coming around on this outside cut here, you're going to be able to see Origin's spindle ramp down into the second cut, or second depth pass, I should say. And now we're on our second roughing pass out of 2. We're still on our final path. We've got a little under 3 minutes remaining. And I don't know, is there anything else I should cover on this one, Jake? Let me take a look at my notes. We've got the automated pocketing, roughing and finishing. We've got pilot mode going on over here. One last thing that I want to mention is as Origin is taken in and out of BenchPilot, that pilot mode is going to automatically engage and disengage. It does that really easily and wirelessly. So you're going to see us switching Origin back and forth often between BenchPilot hands-free mode and Origin hands-on mode. And as we do that, there are no buttons we need to press. Origin's just going to know easily and automatically, wirelessly, whether it's connected or not. And that's going to let us just get to work without having to think about it. What you will notice is that when we take Origin out of BenchPilot, pilot mode is going to switch back to the cut mode that we all know and love. So you can see now We're still at that final depth, but we've come into that finishing pass. And we're just going to follow that finishing pass all the way around. We're taking off a nice 0.02, 0.03 inches on that finishing pass, which is going to give us really good cut quality on the sides of this push stick. Nice. And there we go. Now, all you need to do when BenchPilot is done is go ahead and turn that spindle off, turn your vacuum off, and we didn't talk about this, but you're going to be able to really easily just push it out of the way.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. It's a nice looking push stick, Jake.
There we go.
We should give away some of these push sticks. We actually cut like 20 push sticks preparing for this show.
Just making sure it was all dialed in.
Yeah, but look at that. That's something else. And all hands free. We chose a push stick because nobody really cares to make a push stick.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing that
them.
you just put off for as long as you can. We've got some old chewed up push sticks that I haven't taken the time to make more because it's not the work that I actually want to make. Yeah. And this is what BenchPilot's facilitating. It's helping you do the work that you don't want to do so you can do more of the work that you do want to do. Nice. I like that. Did I miss anything? I don't think so.
No.
Cool.
The automatic connection that, every time you dock and undock, and just how quick and easy. I mean, this is your Origin now.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a little roll cage on it, but it's Origin.
Yeah, I like that roll cage. Cool. And yeah, I do want to make sure it's centered, but it just clicks in like that. So, what's next, Jake?
We're going to be doing some inlay positives. You're talking about a dragonfly.
Yeah, I've got a really cool dragonfly project that I pulled up. Let's look at this project here on Shaper Hub once again real quick. We've got this dragonfly inlay. This has actually been on Shaper Hub for quite a while. I'm going to go ahead and once again sync this to my files. Whoop, got to reload the page. There we go. Sync. This is going to send that right over to Origin, and we've got some small thin inlay material ready, queued up for us to go ahead and cut these out. So what are we setting up over here, Jake?
Got some ash for the wings. And some sapele for the body. A little contrast here. And same as before. I want to level everything out. So I'm going to use that support bar for workstation. And just bring my shelf up.
Nice. We're leveling that just the same way that we've always done.
Got to drop that foot.
Yeah. Let's do that again, Jake. I think we missed that on the camera. We got this quick push button here. You're going to drop that foot down to the ground and then turn that adjustment knob just a couple of times. Bring an Origin back over and clip her in.
All right, hop over to my workspace. There we go. There's our stock side by side. Make sure I got that double-sided tape stuck down real good.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to use the 16th inch bit, right?
Yeah, we're going to use the 16th inch bit. And there's a couple things that I want to convey with this demo. I'm going to be right on the nose about it. One is one that I talked about while you were cutting that push stick, which says that when we're using tiny bits like this, when we're doing long, tedious things that are just super tiring to do by hand, you can turn BenchPilot way down. You can give it all the time that it needs. The other thing that we haven't talked about yet is how easy it is and conversational it is. It's almost like working with an apprentice to fine-tune your cut settings by hand and then let BenchPilot take over for the rest.
I like that.
So I think what we do is we go ahead and place these inlay parts. We cut one of them by hand just to make sure that it's working the way that we want, and then we clip into BenchPilot, keep those same cut settings, and let it cut the rest on pilot mode.
I think that's perfect. So I'm unclipped right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you already synced that over, so I can import Dragonfly. I bring my wings over here. And the body is going to go on this side.
Very nice.
Cool. Back in cut mode, very familiar. I've already Z-touched. I have that tiny 16th inch bit in there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's check out what we got. To go to a depth of 0.16,
Mm-hmm.
suggesting 4 passes.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think because it's so thin, we don't need to do a rouging and finish pass.
Yeah, okay, we can turn that off. And I see us going from 0.063 to 0.125 and then to 0.16, which I think we could do in 2 feels like too few, but I think 3
feels
evenly
good.
spaced is going to feel good. Let's try that out and just
Alright.
see how it cuts. So Jake's going to go ahead and cut this by hand. We are using auto pass on this one. We're going to go nice and slow through all those little nooks and crannies, and auto pass is going to automatically ramp us down. Jake, if you had to guess, well, he can't talk. I think his mic's muted. Think about this, though. If you had to guess what inch per minute you think you're cutting out right now, I think you're going a little bit slower than the default. Maybe a little less than 10, maybe 8 or so. So we're going down. There we go. That's it. And we'll make sure that that worked for this router bit also, because the most important thing here is that we're not going too fast and breaking the router bit. So I think if we've got one that's stable and functional, then we can use those settings for the rest.
That felt good to me.
Yeah, how's the part look?
Perfect. Didn't break loose.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a tiny part that I'm not doing a finish pass partially for that reason. I don't want to risk it knocking loose.
Okay, so let's clip in and let BenchPilot cut the rest. You'll notice as we clip in, it switches us over to cut mode. Before we turn the spindle on, let's double check all our settings. We've got the same depth set. We've got all outside cuts. We've got no offset on these. We'll play with the offset on the pocket. What else do we have? The bit diameter and the Z-touch is all correct. These depth settings are the same as what we used before, I believe, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Now, before we cut these, let's double check the path selection, because this is something new that we're introducing. The very first green button press that you hit is going to preview your cuts. And what I want to do is deselect the one that we already cut so that BenchPilot doesn't accidentally cut it again. So if you hover over it, we can select and deselect. So that one's deselected now. We've got, I guess, 6 remaining. Should be 2 body parts and 4 wings, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so let's confirm that and let her rip. We are going to need to turn the speed on BenchPilot down to, let's say, lower than 10.
Lower than 10?
I think lower than 10. It's a tiny bit. Yeah, 9 or 10.
Let's do it.
That seemed about how fast you were going. And while this is cutting, we are going to walk over for
our other studio.
To our Studio B for our mid-show break. So let's get this going. All right. Hey, everybody. Here we are. It's Studio B. I got to say, it feels kind of awkward to be over here just chatting while Origin does the work for us.
Kind of nice. I feel like a sideline sports reporter.
Yeah, absolutely. We've graduated, right? This is what they do after they win the cup.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Welcome to our mid-show break. I think we're going to let BenchPilot run in the picture-in-picture here so you can see it working its magic. The very first thing that we always do when we pause the show here is we bring up this poll question. This one's real nitty-gritty. We want to make sure that we're providing the best service for you when you are getting ready to work with BenchPilot, learn how to use it, cut your first project.
Yeah. We want to know if this is something that would help influence your decision to buy.
Yeah. Would a category, or how would a category of BenchPilot-ready projects on ShaperHub influence your decision to buy BenchPilot? Might make you more likely. I can't see it making anyone less likely.
No, but just let us know if you don't really care
just
about
let
that
us
kind
know
of
if
thing.
you don't really care, or you're going to buy one no matter what, or you might be thinking, why the heck would I buy this silly thing that automates all my cutting and makes life so much easier? Why the heck would I do that? But anyway, that poll question should be up. We're giving away a bunch of swag packs today because I think we're going to have a ton of questions.
Yeah.
So hang on for that. There are going to be some giveaways to folks who answer this poll question at the end of the show.
Shaper hats all abroad.
Yeah, Shaper hats.
Just in time for summer.
Exactly. Let's see. The next thing that I want to pull up here, I want to make sure that I'm in slideshow mode, is all of the sale details and bundle discounts for BenchPilot. Now, remember, the first month the BenchPilot's on sale. We're knocking $100 off the retail price, so that's good for everyone. But let's pull up my computer here, and Ian, I think, is on the switchboard. Let me know when we're ready. We've got the bundle deals going here, too. You'll see that if you bundle BenchPilot plus the shelf upgrade kit, you're going to save a total of $200. And if you buy BenchPilot plus workstation plus the shelf upgrade kit, you're going to save a total of $275. I think that's the way to go if you don't have workstation. You can use BenchPilot without workstation. We have something to show you later in the show with how that works. But I think by far workstation is the best way to work with BenchPilot. It gives you that vertical work holding capability, and it gives you that great flexibility that you can get with the shelf upgrade kit, or just even the regular old shelf. Now, some more details. Shipping dates, estimated. BenchPilot, late September 2025. Shelf upgrade kit, late August 2025. There are a couple caveats to that. We have expedited shipping available. And that's for $200. Your BenchPilot is going to arrive in the U.S. 4 to 6 weeks before anyone else. Then also we've got First Cut Live. The ticket for that is $250. This is an event that we're hosting at San Francisco HQ, which is going to dive you into everything that you need to know with BenchPilot. You're going to be able to do projects with it. Everybody's going to go home with a handmade cutting board, get to hang out for a day, lunch, etc. The ticket for that is $250, but if you buy BenchPilot, that's going to include that expedited shipping option. So all the folks that come here for First Cut Live are going to get that expedited shipping for free. Now, let's make sure that we switched off the computer for a second because I want to go over to our First Cut Live details. Okay, let's pull this one up just so that everybody's clear on this. This is at shapertools.com/BenchPilot First Cut Live. And here are the details. June 20th, Shaper HQ, San Francisco, California. $250. Exclusive first hands-on demo of BenchPilot. 4-hour training session with Jake, me, the rest of the Shaper staff. Everybody's going to make a custom cutting board here. We're prepping all the materials for that. You're going to use BenchPilot for that. Again, you're going to be the first to receive BenchPilot if you order one because you're going to get that free Air Express shipping plus lunch, drink, snacks. And this is in conjunction with a public party that we're hosting at the end of this event. So it's not just an afternoon or even it's more than an afternoon. We're starting at 10 o'clock, I think, in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's not just 10 to 5. This is a whole day thing. It's 10 to 5 for this event, and then we're tacking on an extra, 3 hours of hanging out and having fun and working with Origin and BenchPilot after that.
Sounds like a great way to spend a Friday.
It sounds like a great way to spend a Friday. So, what else is going on? I feel like I just talked like everybody's ear off.
Well, one of the, if not the biggest show in Germany is happening right now. Ligna and there is 1 day left. So if you're in the Hanover area, highly encourage you to swing by Ligna, check out the booth. That's where we debuted BenchPilot. People over there have been using it nonstop and getting cool little takeaway boxes. Speaking of which, I think we have a little bit of footage.
We do.
From Ligna.
Yeah, so in lieu of a shop tour today, we've got footage from Ligna, the Shaper booth, and some other cool stuff that's going on. So let's go ahead and roll the tape.
Let's do it.
Built for the job site, super quick. What I always show people is, look how easy this is. Straight out of the box, I can just carry this 52 kilo saw around. I can get it to the doorway.
It does. So you love the tools. You like the tools.
I love the precision.
Man, how nice is that to have the machine doing the tedious stuff for you?
This is one of my favorite parts. We all know how much I like this. Scraper.
Yeah, skip the cutting. Just get straight to the part where you pop the the scrap material off of your shelf. Oh yeah, beautiful cut quality, and I know that if I was doing that myself, I would have been rushing the whole time. Yeah. So, we're gonna let Jake go ahead and take some time to clean those up because I have an inlay pocket to cut over here. Now, again, the cool thing about BenchPilot is that you've always got an origin attached to it. And that origin is still the same portable handheld CNC machine that you already know. So, should we spend the time to cut this? Or should we spend more time talking about the tenons? Because we already cut a pocket.
Where it's at.
We already cut a pocket. This is just going to be another pocket. And you guys already know what that automated pocketing looks like.
Let's cut tenons.
Let's cut some tenons. That's way cooler. All right. Now, here's what we're looking at. This guy is chunky. This is a really cool tenon fixturing jig that Jake worked up for this show. And we've got some really cool features in here that let you repeatably place tripod stool legs in this fixture for repeated cutting. What we're doing over here on BenchPilot is setting up that workstation front face to work for mortise and tenon the same way that we always do by dropping it down into that lowest position over there. Now, if I hand this over to Jake,
we have our registration pin holes. Bingo, bingo.
Mm-hmm.
And
then we've got some clamps. Got room for clamps right there on the left and the right. This is just so slick.
I know. By the end of this, I'm going to have enough short tripod stools to outfit like an entire schoolroom.
Yeah, nice.
Made so many of these.
We should do that. If you have a school in the San Francisco area that could use some, what? Too big for kindergartners, you think? Third graders?
I don't know.
Huh.
It's about that tall.
Yeah. So we've got this set up over here. We are going to bring this support bar back in place to support the end of origin. Lock that in place. And just like any other tenon, we want enough room to be able to cut around all the sides of this tenon. So what's cool about this is just like when you're working with origin, it's always saving the workspaces that you're using, and you can always go back and return to them. So we've got this workspace set up with all of our grids for all of these tenons.
And we know it's going to land in the same exact place because of the registration pins.
Because we built a really slick fixture. And if you want to learn more about how to build fixtures like this, make sure that you keep staying tuned to Shaper Sessions, because we're going to do a whole show just on fixtures like this in, what do you think, Jake, a month or so?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about
Just
right.
about that.
All right, what are we setting up now? We've got the 8mm router bit in there.
8 by 35 millimeter router. We want to go ahead and Z-Tel tool and Z-Touch right off on top of one of these tenons. Bingo. I'm going to clip in. And I got a series of cuts here. It's that double stepped tenon. And it already has all the encoded depth for me. I can come up here and just adjust the number of depth passes, which I can do less than that. Maybe less than that?
I would keep it up.
Let's
you know,
do
it's
that.
BenchPilot. We've got all the time in the world
That's
to cut
true.
this stuff.
That's true. Running speed 5 on the router.
Mm-hmm.
Max depth 1.27.
Yeah, that's great.
Z-Touch is good. We're ready to rock.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and cut. I mean, we've got 6 of these. They're going to take kind of a long time. This is batch work. The more tenons you can cram onto a fixture, the better your ratio of time efficiency is going to be. So we totally stacked this one. We're going to let it cut a couple of these. Well, I should say one. We're going to let it cut one while we narrate. Then we're going to let it cut the rest while we watch another video. And then we'll come back and just see how it's doing. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Okay, cool.
Ready to rock?
Mm-hmm. Ready to rock. Nice. When we've got that preview cuts going there, then everything is going to be automatically selected. You can go ahead and deselect from there. And you can see we've got 18 passes to cut. That's a bunch of tenons. And we've got about 12 minutes left to do it. We're running again at 30 inches per minute, That's really been the sweet spot for me working with BenchPilot.
Yeah.
It does go up to, what, 45?
45.
Max? Yeah. But with heavier cuts like this, you do want to keep it modest. And you can see that whole fixture there queued up for a bunch of cuts. Now, that's the end of the first pass. We're going to go on to the second path here. This one's going to be the shallower of the two, so it should take a little less time. And that's working from the outside in here on outside cuts. Maybe in the Q&A we could talk about the logic of BenchPilot and how it chooses what to cut and when.
But like earlier, when we were cutting the push stick, it chose to cut the pocket first.
Yeah, of course,
it's going to do that.
It's going to cut those inside features before it cuts any outside features that break free. We talked a lot about that last week on the session on building curved bench or curved shelf parts.
Nice.
Curved drawer parts, that is. And the reason for that is that you want to do those inside features before you have the chance of breaking through that part, of course. How many steps did you put on these?
There are 3 cut paths. Normally, when you just download the file, it's a big pocket on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
I just made it 3 concise cut paths. Now it's on to the second one.
Nice. Let's see what that looks like from underneath there. No, we're blocked by the support bar, but that's all right. We can go ahead and let that continue to cut. And while it's working, we've got one more video to show you guys, which is how we would set up BenchPilot with pass-through setup.
Yeah, no workstation.
No workstation. What we would use that for is, for example, a big piece of material that doesn't fit on the shelf upgrade kit. In this video, for example, we've got the body of a guitar, which I think is awesome. And again, remember that increases your cut area from 11 by 18 to 17 by 18.
Yeah.
So you're going to have way more cut area there. Let's go ahead and roll that tape.
Let's do it. Been living rent-free in my head since Tanya released that video.
You could build that bass
We could.
with BenchPilot. Again, check out Shaper Hub. We've got a lot of really cool designs for not only guitar bodies, but jigs and fixtures for contouring the neck of the guitar.
Yeah.
People love to use Origin for cutting the frets. And we've got a masterclass on lutherie from Christoph Neu, who builds guitars in Germany. Nice. And so you can see we're over here at Bench B again. Origin is a little more, I think, than halfway through cutting these. No, it's on the left side. Not quite halfway through cutting these. So we're going to let it go ahead and cruise with BenchPilot there. It's got probably 8 or 9 minutes to go. Before we roll into the Q&A, we want to bring up one more time that the BenchPilot sale is live for the next month. You're going to take $100 off the retail price there. Once again, I've got the bundle packages up here on my screen. We can show these off. When you bundle BenchPilot plus the shelf upgrade kit, you're going to save $200. When you bundle BenchPilot plus workstation plus the shelf upgrade kit, you're going to save $275. I think that's the best way to use BenchPilot with Workstation. Now, shipping dates again, BenchPilot, late September 2025, Shelf Upgrade Kit, late August 2025, expedited shipping, air shipping from where BenchPilot is being manufactured in Europe, by the way. That's 4 to 6 weeks before standard shipping. $200 for that airplane ticket for your BenchPilot. But if you jump into First Cut Live at San Francisco HQ, then we're going to include that expedited shipping with your ticket to the event. And that's going to be a full day here at Shaper. We're going to do projects with BenchPilot. You're going to learn everything there is to know about how to operate it when it gets to your shop. And it's going to be a fun time. Then we're having a big party after that with a good group of folks. We're going to try to get as many Shaper staff to that one as possible. That'll be fun.
Right on. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining. It's always a pleasure, and we are so excited to see what you go forth and cut now with BenchPilot.
Yeah, we've got a lot more BenchPilot shows coming up, so stay tuned at shapertools.com/sessions, and we'll see you on the next one. That'll be 2 weeks from today.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.